The power of brand marketing to grow your business and why your brand is more important now than ever. So, in this continued lockdown world that we find ourselves in, it's more important today than ever to really choose the best and most practical activities that will keep our businesses not just surviving, but thriving for today, for tomorrow, and for the long term, which is why brand marketing should be right up there on your list of things to do. So, hey there, I'm DEE WOODWARD, and I am that elusive unicorn that every entrepreneur wishes that they'd met sooner. And I say that only slightly in jest, because I've gained this magical unicorn nickname after years working as a brand strategist and a designer, which is to say that you will find me analyzing spreadsheets and probing your business with really deep strategic questions as often as you will see me geeking out on color choices and debating the benefits of a serif versus a sans serif font for creating that lasting impact on your customers. Now, having helped launch thousands of brands online, from working with those small kind of independent businesses who are really launching bespoke product ranges, to working on communication and brand projects for some of the really big corporate names out there. And now that is the part where I'm supposed to name drop those big guys. But honestly, those brands sound way more impressive than they ever were to work on, and I promise you that. So fortunately, I have found that my skills really work their absolute best when paired with that quietly confident bunch of entrepreneurs who are really doing business their way, who are ready to stand up and brand up through solid strategy, sound business offers, and striking design. And when I'm not co-creating with this fearless bunch of entrepreneurs, you will mostly find me knee-deep in a cardboard robot creation, which I do promise started as a project just to entertain the small people in my life, not just for me. So that's me. In a nutshell, it's 16 plus years of brand design experience wrapped up into just under 2-minute intro, which is great. But what has any of this got to do with you and using the power of brand marketing to grow your business? Well, that is an excellent question. And today, I'm here to teach you a little thing or two about using your brand to grow your business, especially when you feel like you haven't got the right things to say or that the world isn't really ready to hear them. Because let's squash that myth right out the gate. The idea that people don't want to hear from you or buy from you right now is just not true. Because now really is a great time to get your business, your name, your brand out there, to really be seen, to show up, to support your audience in the ways that only you really can, to show that you care, to make an impact, to really be of service to those who want to hear from you now more than ever. Because we're not just craving connection right now, we are actively spending more time searching for them online. The time spent on social media is at an all-time high, and with more people scrolling Facebook and looking for inspiration on Instagram and searching Pinterest, even checking in on LinkedIn to feel more connected to work. I have found myself even checking LinkedIn recently. Then, if you've got the space to show up and share, then go for it. Start the conversations that you want to hear, sell the products and services that you know can help, and stand for what you believe in. Don't stop sharing. Don't stop showing up. Don't stop being the brand that you really want to be. Because when you show up and you share, you're really helping your brand stick in the minds of your customers and your prospects. So, before we go any further, I'm going to set you a little challenge. Now, this is one that you can do right now during this class, and it's one super simple action that you can do today to really show up for your brand. And it's really simple. It's really easy. Now, all I want you to do is when you hear something during this class that really pops out to you, that really makes you go, ooh, makes you stand out and pay attention and makes you think that you're going to definitely take action on that and implement it in your brand today. I want you to take a photo of whatever screen it is that hits you with that inspiration. And if it shows your desk space in the background or wherever you're working from right now, then even better. Now, when we get to the end of this class, I will let you know exactly how you can use this in your brand today. So that's your little live class challenge. And now we can crack on. So, why showing up in your brand is more important now than ever before. But before we do go down the kind of what is a brand rabbit hole, let's get clear on what we mean by brand right here in this class. Because if there's one thing that years of working as a brand strategist has shown me, it is there are many, many interpretations of that really seemingly simple word. So your brand, put simply, is an offer delivered with personality. So it's your products, it's your services, your content, it's everything that you say and do, just delivered in a way that really creates a personal connection that gets people thinking, hey, I like these guys, they get me, I trust them, I want to be part of their tribe. Because your brand is your business made human. It's communicating and connecting with your audience in a way that makes them feel valued and supported by you. And now more than ever, your audience is looking for a connection to the things that make us human. Right now, the year isn't exactly going how we pictured it. I mean, in our businesses and our personal lives, we are facing some unusual situations that, let's just face it, we were not ever planning. But for the most, I mean, there have been some really gut-wrenching decisions made. And I don't take this subject lightly here, but I do also know that for a lot, especially those kind of quietly confident entrepreneurs among us who have been pretty pro at the whole getting half dressed for Zoom calls and not really leaving the house for years, because there is a huge opportunity around us right now. So now more than ever, your brand has an opportunity to really stand out, to be seen, to show up, and to do its job better than ever in positioning you, your services, your products as the perfect fit for your customers. Because while we might not be paying for fancy meals out or heading to those in-person events that, even the most introvert of business owners are really starting to miss right now, we are paying attention. So what you do with your brand right now will be remembered. And as business owners, as brand owners, this is our time to step up, to show our values, to show that we care, and to make it unforgettably clear what you want to be known for. It's our time right now to form those deeper, lasting connections with your audience, to really build a tribe around your business, and to cement that brand loyalty that most of us have been working towards. And that's where brand marketing really comes in. Because the job of your brand is to build connection. It's to offer guidance and support to those that you can help. Because brand marketing is just a fancy word for more of this, for more intentional showing up and offering support and guidance, for really playing the long game of offering value up front, knowing that it will come back in customer loyalty later on. Because really, nobody ever got upset by someone offering genuine support. And that is the key to brand marketing, because it's not about doing whatever you can right now to get the sale today. It's about putting yourself out there in a way that connects with your audience, that makes them feel seen and heard and supported, and makes them want to be around you, not just for today, but for the long term. So, what do you want to be known for? Now, it is a bit of a trick question, because the answer isn't one that warrants a quick reply, which might go against what you may have heard elsewhere. Because when you do really take the time to dig into this question, then what you want to be known for isn't as simple as being kind of the best at what you do, or some fancy sentence that you may have spent your lifetime kind of editing to be the perfect one-liner answer to that ever popular but ever so annoying question. So what do you do? Because the only real worthwhile response to this question is more questions. And mostly those questions are, How do you want people to feel? And how do you want them to remember you? Which also happens to be the only response really to the lingering question that is around us at the moment of how should I be marketing during a pandemic? Because when it comes to getting your brand out there in this unusual time that we find ourselves in, then the usual marketing approaches are just not quite cutting it. And for most, the traditional kind of direct sales approach to marketing that we may all have been using time and time again just isn't quite working right now. So while the world is struggling and starting to find this new normal, then for most, taking the business as normal, applying that kind of crack on with your Facebook ads and your trusty sales funnels, it might just seem at best a bit insensitive, and at worst, like you just don't give a flying lemon about what your audience is feeling. And that's okay to feel that way. It's also okay to feel the opposite, to really be craving business as normal, to feel actually supported in the sense of seeing typical sales funnels and process and seeing people going about their business as normal style work. That's okay. It's also okay to feel any number of things between those. And that's because we're all feeling this. Your customers will all be feeling any one of those things too, which is why these two questions are the most important questions that you can ask yourself when it comes to, what or how do I show up in my brand right now? Because the decisions that you make in your business really should always come back to, how do I want people to feel about me, about my brand, about my business, about my offers, about the way I present myself and show up, and how do I want them to remember me? Because when it does come to that moment of truth, when you are asking for that sale, then it's how you make people feel would always be the winner or the differentiator between getting that kind of hell yes gut reaction or a no thanks. And don't mistake that people are paying attention to how you show up right now, to the offers that you're making, whether they are paid offers or not. And when we are happily queuing for those unnecessary items at Waitrose again, then the brands who really kept strong to their values, the ones who made the offers that reinforced their mission, and the ones that stuck to their brand strategy amongst all the chaos, amongst everything that was going on, those are the ones that are going to make the best success stories. And yes, you might feel like crawling into a hole and waiting and watching Netflix, but you've got to resist. Because while there is no right answer to how you should be showing up right now, because no one really knows what the right approach is. Come on, I mean, what exactly you should be doing to ride things out at this moment or at any moment in your business, no one can really give you a definitive answer to that. But the only thing we can really know is that staying visible at these times, at all times, is important. That your business, that your offerings, that what you do is important and it is needed. And contrary to a lot of popular opinion, pivoting your offers, or worse, pivoting your whole business right now isn't a necessity. And while, yes, a pivot might be the best thing that you could do, it could also be the absolute worst. It could be the thing that kills your brand. But the only person who can know that is you. And the best indicator for knowing if it is right for you is your brand. It's your brand values, your brand strategy, your offerings, your personality, your customers, and your tribe. Making decisions for your business should always come from your brand. And I know that more than kind of pivots right now, there's been a lot of a sense of pause in people's businesses, a lot of people questioning, how do I keep doing my business when there is so much struggle going on? Like, what is the right balance? How do I show up and market myself without being insensitive? But being sensitive doesn't mean you have to stop showing up. So show up, be you. People, for the most part, like people We like to see what everyone's up to. We like to see people prevailing and doing well. Most people are happy for people when they have success. So we want to really connect the human in your brand. So show up and show you care. Humanize your brand. Now, don't glorify or make light jokes if that's not your brand personality style, but also don't shy away and hide from how you would respond to situations if it is. But humanize your brand really means acting in your brand as you would as a person. And knowing your perfect customers will help you understand how you should respond and how you should create content. So when you know your brand and you know your values, and then you know how what you've got, what you know, your offers, your services helps your perfect customers, then all you got to do is really show up and help person to person. Because people are craving connection. And your brand's purpose is really there to build connection. It's there to bridge the gap between who you are and who your perfect customers are. So let's use it. Let's use your brand. Now, you can't know how you or your brand showing up is going to affect any one person. All you can know is that by not showing up, you are not going to be helping anyone. So people will always have different views of everything, and that happens all the time. It isn't just a pandemic specific problem. So the questions you really have to ask is what's right for you, the brand owner, and then what's best for your perfect customers. You really have to kind of get to know the mind and the hearts of your perfect customers and then start to make decisions based on those. But first, and always first, do what feels right to you. It's your brand, it's your business after all. So always do what works for you first. But ask yourself, how can I show up and share my brand values for me? And then what does this look like in a way that will really help my audience? And that, of course, doesn't mean writing a step-by-step guide to surviving a pandemic, because unless you have some sort of time machine, you don't know this yet. You do, however, know many, many things where you can give real value today, tomorrow, all time. And that's where brand marketing is your best friend. So brand marketing grows the value of your brand consistently. It really helps position you as the perfect choice for your customers so that when they are ready to buy, they want you above all other options. Now you compare this to direct response marketing, which grows the value of your brand, but more in the moment, and really urges people to take immediate action, which leads them through a sales funnel. Now, I know brand marketing gets a bit of a rap as a waste of time, especially among the hardcore marketing fans out there, people that are all about the kind of immediate response and direct action taken. And that really does have its place. I'm not anti-direct response. I love a bit of direct response marketing, but I also love brand marketing because although the return is harder to quantify, it is notably more powerful in the long term because you are building connection, you are building confidence, you really are creating that deep connection and trust in your brand so that when your audience is ready to buy, there is just no other option in their minds. They want you. So how do you do this? I mean, give value, be visible, be helpful in whatever way that looks for your brand. Because, spoiler alert, I'm sorry to say, there is no secret formula to creating content. And what works for me might not work for you or your audience. All you got to do is know your audience and take the time to really understand what they want to hear from you and then deliver it where and when and how they want to hear it. So if you're used to launching, then kind of think of this time right now as your launch build up, as giving value and building connections with your audience in preparation for when you are ready to offer something to sell. Showing up now more than ever your brand really does have the opportunity to stand out. And I know I've said that a few times now, but it's true. So right now, there's a brilliant opportunity for you to allow your brand to do its job better than ever before at positioning you, your services, your products as the perfect fit for your customers. So, how do we get our brands out there? Now, if you had or have that kind of burning feeling inside to go and run and hide when times are hard, then that's a natural reaction. It's normal to fear the unknown. I mean, really, the safe reaction to batten down the hatches and wait until things become clearer. That's the safe reaction. The idea of focusing your effort right now on putting your brand out there more might not have been your top of the list of things to do. I mean, it probably has a permanent fixture a lot lower down on your list of things to do, no matter what the state of the world. And that's understandable. I mean, how can you think about promoting yourself and your brand when so many other people are suffering? Or what would other people think of you showing up more right now? Now, if those questions have flown through your mind over the last few weeks at any point, then you are not alone. But instead of being consumed by fear, embrace the opportunity to really position your brand in people's hearts and in their minds. Because if you don't, competition will. Now, I did a little bit of research for you before I started to make any bold claims around this. And there are many studies around the recessions that have showed that the more a business cuts back on their brand marketing during a recession, the less likely they were to outperform their competition when things got back to normal. And that absolutely sounds logical, and it makes complete sense that in this kind of post-pandemic world that we're going to be going into, those who kept showing up through the worst of times are going to come back to business as usual, quicker and stronger. And now, while I'm not saying that we all need to kind of crack on regardless and stick to the exact same sales strategies that we had in place before all of this, we do need to remember that there are many people out there that don't just want to hear from you, they actively want to buy from you. So recognize how your audience is feeling, make them feel supported in whatever way that looks for your brand, and then keep sharing your offers. Keep letting people know that you are open for business. Now, if you're not sure what or how to show your support and share your offers at the same time, then this is where you need to take some time to really understand your brand purpose, to dig into that big question. What do you want to be known for? So just because someone else is, sharing messages in a particular style or sending, those what we're doing kind of emails, which, I mean, great, who cares? Not many people really care about what you're doing, but they care about what you are doing when it comes from you, from what your brand is doing, when it comes from your brand values and why this matters to me, your customer, in this situation. So don't ever feel like you have to follow that somebody else is doing at any one time. You don't need to pivot your offers if that doesn't fit your brand strategy. It's only really going to serve to weaken your brand positioning when you just follow what someone else is doing, not following what you need to be doing to build your brand. So take the time to know what you stand for, the position that your brand takes, your brand and business values, and then show up consistently as these. Show you're human, show your brand personality, say what you really think, and remember that your brand is the bridge between you, your offers, your products, your services, and your audience. It's the piece that really connects the two. It's the thing that humanizes your offers and connects you person to person. Because it's not all about brand to consumer, it is person to person. Your brand is here to build connection to you, to your offers, to wanting to be a part of your tribe, because people buy for people, not just for products. So knowing your values, knowing your why, knowing you're human are so important when it comes to building and creating your brand. These are the connection points in your business that make people want to become your customer. Show up, give, and give some more. And if you're not sure where to start in all of this giving, then apply the love, like, hate test. Now, this is one of my favorite tests. It's a great benchmark for many things, and I'll tell you why. So, first of all, make a list of all the things you love, all the things you like, and all the things you hate about what you do, about the industry you're in, about the subjects, areas that you know a lot about. Now, first up, the reason I love this is because when you've completed those lists, you have just made a start on your brand values and purpose. It can be that simple. There's a lot more digging and questions that you ask to really refine those, but that is the starting point. And then I want you, for this activity, to look through everything you just wrote down and start sharing pieces, snippets, information, content about each of these things that you've listed. Now, you could use this to create blog posts or video content, or, writing notes for your next presentation or workshop that you're going to deliver. You can turn them into social media posts or start splashing them around all over your website. However you use them, just use them and start seeing connections grow. So, don't ditch your direct sales marketing strategy completely. There will always be a place for that, but now is the time to really start focusing on what you are doing with your brand marketing strategy and how you can weave this into everything you do so that you are always naturally, consistently building a deep and lasting connection with your customers and your brand. So let's move into the do's and don'ts of brand marketing. First up, do be transparent. So if you are struggling, let your audience know. If something has got your goat about the industry that you're in, then tell it straight. Just remember, your brand is there to support your tribe. It's not there to act as a therapy session for how hard you might have got it right now, because your audience really cares about what this means for them, not you. And if you're not sure whether to share something or not, then test it with the WIIFM. I'm not sure how you're meant to pronounce that, but that's what the letters are, because it's what's in it for me. And me in this situation means your customer. So whatever you are sharing should always be focused on what's in it for your audience. What will they get out of hearing this from you? And is it something that's going to have a positive impact on them? Or is it something that they are going to thank you for sharing? Is it something that they really need to hear, but they don't want to hear? So you're doing them a service by delivering it for them? Or is it something that you just feel like you need to get off your chest? So if it doesn't pass the WIIFM test, then it is one for your journal, not for your brand. Do make your offers easy to find. So just because we're not talking about direct sales strategies here, it doesn't mean that you're not selling. Making your offers easily available online, mind adding a product page to your website, or making it really just easy for people to find what they need from you whenever they need it, is so important here. Because your brand marketing is designed to help you get eyes on your business, get eyes on your brand, and to get people wanting to connect with you. And when people want to be part of your brand, when they want to know more about you, they are going to naturally want to see what you've got to offer. So make sure they can find it easily. Don't ignore what's going on outside. Now, no one really knows what's going on. And while offering kind of ongoing advice on a situation that you don't really know that much about isn't going to do anything for your brand reputation, sticking your head in the sand and ignoring the fact that it's affecting you and your customers and your business is just going to make you look ignorant and insensitive. Because remember, everyone is watching and paying attention to what you do. So do share helpful and meaningful content. Respect the situations that your customers are facing and share your knowledge. Share the stuff that you really know best and make it fit the situation. So remember the WIIFM and look for the links between what your audience might be struggling with right now and how what you know can really help them, because there is always a link. It doesn't have to be a direct link, but it should always be honest and support where your customers are at and what your audience needs. Next up, do make the most of social media. Now, with so many ordered to stay home right now, social media traffic is absolutely at an all-time high, and capturing the attention of this audience is more important than ever, because social media is one of the best places to humanize your brand. It's what we're there for, really, human connection, and it's what your brand can do best for you without the constraints of being in a professional environment like your email or your website. And you can share what you're doing in your business and your life, how you're working with your employees through all of this. Share the joys or the not such joys of working from home with small children. Now, there was a brilliant example of this online a few weeks back, and it all came from the simple concept of sharing what your new co-workers, meaning your kids, had got up to in the office that day. And it was phrased along the lines of, "Today my co-worker," and then you got to fill in the blanks. And people were sharing some great stuff. Things like, "Today my co-worker insisted on taking a shower with me," or "Today my co-worker cried when I told them there was no cheese for lunch." Such great ways to humanize your brand using what's going on in the world around you on social media in a sensitive way. So think about what kind of content your audience would relate to right now and create entertaining content as much as or more than you do educational, because social media is a really huge opportunity for your customers to see your brand for what it really is and make lasting connections on a much deeper level, ones that make your brand feel more human and ones that really translate into that long-term brand loyalty. So your audience has more time right now to scroll their social feeds. In general, most people are spending more time looking for entertaining or educational content right now. And so knowing what your audience is looking for when they are on social media today and in the future is just going to help you position what you're sharing, what you decide to post, in a way that's going to help connect with them in that moment. Whether that's educational or entertaining, there's no right or wrong answer there. It's probably always going to be a mix, but knowing your audience and knowing your brand values, those two things are going to help you navigate how much of what and where and when you share. Do take a stand. Now, it's always those kind of tough times when people's true colors come out. So remember to ask yourself that question. How do you want your brand to be known? And then share what you are doing to really stand by your brand, to stand by your values, to stand by your team and your customers and your whole audience, because they want to know what you're doing and why. So take a stand, show what you believe in, and share it in a way that excites your audience and makes them want to take that stand with you. Just be smart and don't toot your horn too much and too loudly, just in the desire to be seen more. Okay, and finally, play the long game. Always play the long game. Because when all of this pandemic is a distant memory and your customers have returned to their old spending habits, who do you think they are going to want to buy from? Are they going to want to buy from a brand that they didn't hear about or anything from for months? Or are they going to want to buy from the one that stayed top of mind because they continue to show up and share value? Now is the perfect time to really focus on your brand building activities, on putting a solid strategy in place and a system for showing up consistently. So that moves me on to the last part of today's class, where I want to share with you some really easy and simple ways that you can show up in your brand right now. So number 1, get social and join the conversation, or start one of your own. Because social media is made for conversations, and conversations are the perfect place to really practice your showing up skills for you and for your brand. So if you ever feel stuck on knowing what to say, or you get that kind of posting paralysis on how you should show up on social media, then go looking for conversations that are already happening and join in. Now, when I say join in, I don't mean kind of rock up wearing your I'm the expert, listen to me hat. I mean rock up like the person behind your brand that you really are, and reply like you would when you were starting a conversation with somebody in person. If you're at an event, you wouldn't just walk up to people and jump straight in and get wrapped up in the idea that you're this expert guru showboating thing. That happens, oddly enough, so often online. And it's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's just somehow when we're in these online kind of environments, we forget the human to human interaction, and we kind of get sucked into thinking that that's an okay way to behave. But you wouldn't rock up to 2 strangers at an event and just start spouting advice from all of your years of experience without, first of all, being invited to really share your opinion. So don't do that online. Do go and get involved. Share your knowledge and experience, but in a natural, conversational way. And the more conversations that you join in, the more eyes you're going to start to see follow you over to your brand without you ever having to pitch yourself or really trying to sell a thing. And that's where having your products and services available for people to be able to browse and see is really important. But we'll come back to that. So when you do then start to feel inspired to start your own conversations, take to your social media and really start the conversations that you want to have. But that, again, it doesn't mean, it's going to come with a caveat, doesn't mean to post a one-sided kind of monologue of just sharing your opinions. You really want to invite people to join a conversation with you, to bring their opinions and to start building connections through conversations, because it's that social side of social media, it's the conversational side of using this platform that's going to help you build connections and humanize your brand and get that kind of engagement going that you want between your tribe and your perfect customers. And this really is one of the absolute most simple forms of brand marketing that there is out there. And it is one of the most profitable when it's done with the right intention. So don't be tempted to try and get all expert in these conversation areas. Show up, bring your value in the natural way that you would if you were having a conversation with somebody new that you've just met at an event. Okay. Know your brand. Know your brand values. So, like the word brand, the term brand values has become a little bit overused, but it really does speak to the really important aspect of how people see your business. And that's what we're talking about here. So your brand values are what you stand for, and they can be communicated externally through all of the tangible elements of your brand and all of the things that you put out and share with the world. Or they can be communicated internally in how you show up, in what you do, in the feelings that you create. And knowing your brand and knowing your brand values goes way deeper than just picking kind of from a values list and, printing them on Post-its, for all to see at list building days. And if we were all to kind of shout out our brand values right now, it's likely that we'd list the same things, that we'd start to say things like quality and professional and innovative and passionate, because these are kind of the buzzwords of the brand value world. But what do these words really mean to you? So knowing your values means knowing them so deeply that you can't help but bubble over at the sides from all the excitement that you feel just thinking about them. And then that makes it so much easier for you to show up in your brand right now. Because when you know your values and you really know them so much that they become infused through everything that you do, then everything that you do becomes a part of your brand. And that makes showing up as your brand really just as easy as showing up as yourself. Okay, number 3. Now, this is a little bit more strategic. So the idea of buy one, give one. And it is quite a simple, but it's very impactful strategy. The buy one, kind of give one model is a really great way to keep your brand showing up and your team employed right now, while also making a difference. Now, Tom's have used this model for years, and I did spot that Masterclass is offering a similar model right now, because it is that win-win feeling that makes customers feel like they're supporting a greater good than their own needs, while also supporting their own needs. So how can you make this work in your brand? How can you kind of donate a product for every product purchased? Or could you bundle a care package into your offers? Could you bring a guest for free on a ticket to an online event or a program? I mean, there are many ways that you can make this model work for your brand that will help you show up and grow your brand while really getting that kind of warm feeling that your sales are supporting more people, are bringing more connection through the work that you do to your audience. Number 4, in a similar way, support packages. Now, support packages, I first spotted this idea on, I think it was a juice website or a supplements type website. I think it was more juice based, but they created this care package product that you can buy for your friends and family. So you buy it, they ship it. Now, that's not an unusual idea. It's just a gift in the post kind of thing. But the positioning around the offer is what I found really interesting, because the brand values that they have wrapped up with this offer by really creating that feeling of support and care by quite literally sending a care package is just a brilliantly simple way to show up for your brand right now. And I've since then seen this idea for sending hugs in a box or friendship packets and cup of teas with personalized notes and stuff, because there are so many great ways that this could work. And you don't have to have a food-based brand. It could work with so many physical products, but it could also work with lots of digital-based products too. So how could you bring this model into your brand? What could you offer that shows you care and support not just your customers, but their friends and family? Because in this time where people's emotions are kind of running high and caring for friends and family is really top of your mind around the world, what could your brand offer that helps your audience share their support for loved ones? And how can you show that you care and support for more than just that one relationship with your customer? You're thinking about their family as well. So could you combine it with like a buy one, get one free model? Or use a send a care package to someone else in need for free. So it could be that they buy a send a care package for their friend or family, and you offer also donating a send a care package to somebody else. You could create perhaps a completely free care package. Maybe you've got a load of digital goodies that could really help people right now, and you could bundle them up in a care package and create a brand message and values around that. So just though, be certain that you are doing this or any of these for the right reasons, not just as great ideas in this moment, but building long-term connections with your tribe of perfect customers. So we're not in this for the short term. So if your brand values do not involve care and support for everyone's families, then it may not be a great positioning thing for you. But I can't see how any brand wouldn't want to weave that into their brand values. So moving on, number 5, brand templates and systems. Now this is my personal go-to for all things brand consistency, because when you are short on time, or you can't really guarantee that you're going to have the energy to show up for your brand all of the time, this is my go-to. Because right now, although not quite right now, but at the moment, my standard work week is a 2-day week. I mean, right now, whilst I'm recording this class and we're in the throes of lockdown, it's really just a few hours as and when I can grab them which means if I didn't have brand templates and schedules and systems to follow, my brand will have no doubt all vanished by now, which it kind of almost did before I had these templates and systems in place. And I'm not talking about anything crazy here. You don't have to have a whole full system in place and working right now. But getting a system for showing up and sharing your brand through consistent branded content, whether that's educational or entertaining, is a huge tick on the making it easy to show up list. And I'm going to let you know a secret tool I use for creating brand awareness through consistent content, and it's Google Slides, Google Drive, and Google Calendar. All of them I've used to create this class for you right here, and all of them I will be using for repurposing this into content that I can share for weeks without me needing to create anything new, which is my bonus, number 5.5. So repurpose. Now, if you've been in business a while, then you've been doing your thing for a while now, and you will have no doubt built up an absolute mine of great content ready and created that you can start sharing again and again to really help show up in your brand right now without you having to create any new stuff or any extra load for yourself. Now, maybe it's just as simple as resharing this, or if you have got the space and time, then take the time to repurpose your very best content. Looking at your blogs and looking at all of the social content that you have out there, there's some great tools that you can see what and how things have performed. Instagram make it really easy. You can go in and look at your insights and you can see what posts got the most likes and shares and engagement on them. So you can use that as a benchmark for seeing what content landed best at that time. And then you can look about what you're sharing there and repurpose it in line with what's going on right now. And that doesn't mean just today, but when it comes to resharing and repurposing your content in the future, always look at ways that you can connect that content that you wrote a while back and make it relevant for today. And that's all without you needing to create anything new, which is why I love this sneaky little number 5.5. So finally, that brings me to the one huge assumption you have to stop immediately. And that's, do not assume people aren't buying. Because there are people who need what you've got to sell. And there are those people that are so ready to spend money with you right now. But if you assume that people don't want to buy from you, then you are going to make it hard for people to buy without you even realizing it. So make sure you check today that you actually have your offers in a place where people can easily browse and buy without you needing to market or funnel for sales. Now, I love using MemberVault for this in my own brand. I use MemberVault platform to have the whole browse and buy thing because they make that so simple. So maybe a marketplace style page like that would be a great fit for your brand, or just having a simple kind of section in your email footer with links to your latest offers on would be great. Or maybe you finally use that space on your social media sites where you list products and services, because it doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to work as a reminder to your audience that you have things to buy, because people can't buy from you if you don't make it easy for them. And we are very nearly at the end now. This is the penultimate slide. Now, building and growing your brand is a game of strategy. So I want to leave you with this final reminder to don't stop showing up, don't stop sharing, and don't stop being the brand that you want to be. Now, I'd love to hear from you. So please do share any takeaways that you have had from this class over on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you love hanging out. I really would love to hear what you are going to do next to really show up for your brand. And by doing so, you will also be showing up for your brand. Because remember that photo that I asked you to take during this class? Well, I hope you did take one, because here is how I want you to use it. I want you to post it on your favorite social media platform and then share one thing that you are going to do more of for your brand based from what you've learned in this class. Now, tag me in it so I can see that you took action and you showed up for your brand today, and also as a bit of social accountability that you're actually going to do this. And that's really it. Because that is one so simple way that you can show up for your brand today. You're going to be sharing a little bit of a behind the scenes look at what you are doing in your business today and what this means for your brand now and going forward. And that will help you start those conversations on your social media platforms today that will engage with and encourage your perfect customers to start conversations with you and to become loyal fans. And that starts from just sharing a simple picture and letting people into the world behind your business. So I hope that you have loved this class. I mean, I have made a copy of notes available as a PDF document so that you can download these and keep them. There's some little prompts in there for you to fill in actions that you should be taking based on all of the information that we shared tonight. So you can go and download that. There's no opt-in or anything. You just go and grab it over at bydesign.co.uk/POBM-notes. And if you do want to keep the conversation about your brand going, then please do come and join me over in the Facebook group where we can go and talk more about your brand and how you can start using the power of brand marketing in your business today. And of course, if you have loved this class and you want more, there is more to come because we've got brand clarity and confidence coming up next. And you don't have to do a thing to get it because it'll be in your inbox with a little bit of a reminder and over in the group with a reminder before the class goes live. So until then, take action and get your brand out there.